Shalom and welcome to this video cast where I talk with Adi Zussman. Hi, Adi.
Hi, Shirin, everyone.
So a little bit about Adi, and Adi is going to add and say more about herself. Adi is a health coach, and she's also a clinical dietitian in the field of gastroenterology, which basically means stomach and bowel issues. And today we're going to talk about irritable bowel syndrome. So you better get something to write on and write with. But before we start, Adi's doing some amazing, amazing work in this field. And Adi, please say more about you, where you come from, and the amazing things that you're doing.
Thank you, dear. It's always very not easy for me to talk about myself, but I understand that I should do it. Okay, well, yes, I'm a clinical nutrition. Actually, I became a clinical nutrition because of my stomach. And because of my, later I understood that I actually have irritable bowel syndrome. And I had a little bit more problems, which ends as itis, which ends as itis. Actually, there is some inflammation.
And that has the ending of itis, like colitis.
Yes, colitis or gastritis or etc. Yeah. And another itis. Yes.
So the itis, yes, which basically medically indicates that there's an inflammation in the body.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. The change of my diet and actually the change of my thinking, but then when I was 20, I didn't understand it properly. It helps me a lot. I felt much better and I was so impressed about it. So I went to the university and I started my career as a clinical dietitian. So I actually 30 years from now, I'm a clinical dietitian. I did a lot of things, starting with working at the, Kupot Cholim, which called the
Israeli health system.
Right. And then I was, it wasn't enough for me, so I was looking for something else. So I went studying Chinese medicine for dietitians. It was, wow, it was remarkable. It was outstanding, really. It's the most interesting thing that I ever studied. It was that. And I felt that my mind is opening. Then I actually found it myself with the MBA, and I was managing the TPN area in a big Israel company. TPN, it's total parenteral nutrition. Mm-hmm. So when the stomach doesn't work at all, so people have to get the nutrition through the vein.
The vein, like through a tube.
Right, IV. And then I was sick of all of it. So I wanted to study coaching. And it was like a life-changing, really. It was about 10 years ago. A year after I studied it, I quit from the company that I worked in. And I opened my private business. And today I manage the Belly Way, which is center and school of holistic health of guts and bowels problems and diseases.
So I'm just going to say that I know Belly Way, and I know you, and I'm going to say a few words about how I know you. But I love Belly Way because it's a center, like you said, it's holistic, and it has the Western medicine perspective, it has the dietitian perspective, it has a Chinese medicine perspective, and it has the mind-body perspective, and everything is integrated. And I know a lot of people that have done your programs, patients that have done your programs with amazing, amazing results. Amazing results. And of course, you also train clinical dietitians, to work with this, this approach. I'm going to say that I met you.
Yes, what we do, I call it as integrative model of gastroenterologists.
Yeah. which is pretty radical. It's pretty radical,
Yeah.
and you guys do amazing stuff. And I started to say earlier that I met you about 8 years ago. I saw you in a conference, and you were talking about working with cancer patients, and you were bringing the perspective of a clinical nutritionist, a clinical dietitian, and the perspective of a health coach, and you integrated the two of them together. And I sat there in the audience and I was like, okay, I'm in love.
You did?
I did. And I actually came up to you. I actually came up to you. So I had a plan. I said, I'm gonna be friends with this woman because this is flipping amazing. And I went up to you in the break and I gave you my business card. I asked for yours, and yeah. And I started being in touch, and then we became friends throughout the years, and and I've been a fan ever since. So many of my clients that are living with irritable bowel disorders, various, including irritable bowel syndrome, one of the resources that I give them is your phone number, and they always thank me for it. So, having said that, what is irritable bowel syndrome?
Oh, good that you're asking. Okay, irritable bowel syndrome, we'll call it IBS, right? This is different from IBD because there's inflammatory. Here we have irritable, okay? Yeah. Actually, it's a syndrome. Now, when you hear syndrome in medicinic language, means we don't know what is it, where it comes from, and how do we treat it. So we call it syndrome. It sounds very honorable, very respected. Actually, it's a disease. Okay, just in last really years, the world is ready to recognize that it is not something unrecognizing, and you have it in your mind. Sometimes I hear that patient hear from the doctors. It's in your mind.
It's all about stress. We're going to talk about stress in a minute. Okay,
yes, next door to me.
Yeah.
Which is very insulting, actually, those people, and because really it's not in their mind, it's in their stomach.
Yeah.
Irritable bowel syndrome, it's irritated bowels. Okay, we cannot find it yet. We cannot to diagnose it. We need to eliminate.
Yeah.
Eliminate. Right. Thank you for helping with my English. To eliminate life-threatening diseases like cancer or IBD. And when we don't find anything in gastroscopy and colonoscopy and MRI and UC and everything, all these checks, the gastroenterologist will say, you have IBS, you have to learn to live with it.
Okay, so let me see if I understood this. Okay, so first of all, even though it's called a syndrome, okay, irritable bowel syndrome, this is actually an illness where the bowels are very irritated, and we're going to talk about the symptoms. And there is a cause, just medicine doesn't know what it is yet, but it is in fact a disease. And the way to get diagnosed is basically to eliminate all the rest of the life-threatening diseases, and then you're left with this. And usually you're told, go and live with it. But you're saying something else. You're not sending people to go and live with it.
No, because actually, first of all, in the last years, we have a new diet, which is very evidence-based. We call it low FODMAP. But doctors know about it today. So they send their patients to dietitians, which is...
Could you repeat the name again of this nutrition?
Low FODMAP diet.
Low FODMAP diet.
Low FODMAP. FODMAP, it's not FODMAP, it's FODMAP, which is fermentable oligosaccharides and polyols. Actually, it's carbohydrates that the IBS stomach doesn't know how to digest. So they stay there and they feed the microbiome.
It's a lot of fermented food, right?
Right. No. Fermented food, it's something that we want to use to help
Yeah, but the diet has a lot of fermented food, right?
No, the diet doesn't have a lot of fermented food. I brought it there.
Okay.
The diet mostly says what not to eat, what you can eat. For example, an apple is very rich with FODMAP, so don't eat apple, or onion, so don't eat onion, okay? But you can eat a banana, for example, it's low FODMAP, okay?
Okay.
And there is a lot of thing. It was developed by Monash University in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great deal, this diet.
Yeah. So it works for people with IBS.
Yes. Now, when we talk about IBS, we have to understand that there's a lot of kinds of IBS.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you cannot say, okay, IBS, have a low FODMAP diet and be well. No, it doesn't work like this, because IBS C, constipation, it is not like IBS-D, diarrhea. So you can give just, you know, this, there's the application today of low FODMAP diet and use it, okay?
So there are actually two types of IBS, okay? IBS
different types of IBS, yes.
And the other is D, which stands for diarrhea.
Right, right. Okay. And there's also mixed and unspecified.
Also, we have 4 types of IBS.
At least this is what we know.
Okay, then.
Yes, this is the round 4 for today. So we have to
adapt.
Adapt, right. Yes. We have to adapt the diet, the low FODMAP diet, for the kind of IBS.
I see.
Okay. You will not give a salad with wonderful green vegetables, leaf green vegetables, which are very good, and they're low FODMAP, but they're rich with fibers. Okay, so somebody that with IBS D cannot eat a big bowl of fresh salad, although it's low FODMAP. Okay, so you have to do it with expert, with dietitian who really have understand this diet and that disease. It's not enough to understand the diet.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. That everything you're saying right now, but the fact that even though FODMAP diet is the approach when it comes to IBS, there are actually 4 types of IBS, and you need to know how to fit, how to customize, how to adapt the nutrition to the patient. And it just, you know, it reinforces the fact that this is not just a syndrome, this is a disease. So let's say a few words about the symptoms. What does it feel like, or what does it mean to live with IBS? So we talk about diarrhea, we talk about constipation, what else?
Okay. There is we know about some, you know, special symptoms that we know through them to suspect that the patient has IBS. It's a bloating. It's a lot of bloating, okay? Farting.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Sometimes it has a lot of impact on a patient's life, you know, work and be social, dating, young people, okay?
Yeah, when you're farting and you have diarrhea or constipation, that kind of affects your life, your social life as well.
Yes.
And you and I had a conversation a while ago about the location of illnesses and the connection to shame. And one thing that you said is that everything that is below the waistline has shame attached to it. So
yes.
this is...
Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, you will not say I mean, people can talk about, I don't know, migraine or even cancer, okay? But they will not talk about bellyache and bloating and burping and all this unpleasant, unlegitimate signs. Unlegitimate in our society. Now, it's very interesting because in other societies, I mean, like traditional societies, to give a good fart after a good meal,
that's a compliment.
Almost like says, thank you.
Yeah. In some cultures, you know, burping or passing gas, like, you know, in a very public way, that's actually a compliment. It means, you know, this was a good meal. But that's
Yes.
not the case in our culture.
It's
There's
not
no
a case in our
shame.
culture. And I know young women that will not go to the toilet when their boyfriend is in the apartment.
Yeah.
Okay. Or, you know, in Israel, we have a military service and people go there, and not every base of our services is very clean in the toilets. So I know people that didn't go to the toilet for a week to make themselves a lot of constipation and a lot of bloating and pain, a lot of pain. Okay. So actually there's a lot of connection between the organic problems and the behavioral problems. What do you do with it? How do you connect it? How do you connect to your own body, actually? Because if I'm ashamed from my own body, I cannot talk about it outside.
So a lot of the people listening to this videocast, watching this videocast, are other people that are living with illnesses, but the majority are actually health, wellness, and medical coaches. So, you know, we talked a little about the dietitian side, about the physical, medical side. Let's talk about the emotional and behavioral side. Like, let's, you know, put on our coaching hats right now. I know that you're integrating a lot of disciplines, but I want you to say something.
Yes. What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Say something about the coach approach here, the way that you bring and integrate, you know, coaching into this multi-dimensional model for us.
Okay. I think the main thing, and maybe this is the secret of Bellyway, is that we are very modest in our promising. And when people come to us and help us, heal us, no, we cannot heal anybody, okay? We can help you, we can give you skills, love, information, we can be with you through all the way, but you will have to walk your way of healing. We cannot do it without you, okay? And it's something that I start from the first conversation when people just call us to ask about, before they, you know, pay a shekel. Only if you're ready really to come here and to take the responsibility for your body, for your life, for your food, for your
behavior, emotions, everything. Because I know how you talk with
yes. What do you do with your emotions? What do you do with your sleeping? How much do you sleep? Okay. I mean, if you stay till the middle of the night with the television or computer games, and you rise at 6 o'clock in the morning and you go to the work and you have to work all day and in the high tech or I don't know where, you can't heal like this. It doesn't work.
So there's a lot of, you know, asking for accountability. You know, the people that work with you, so-called patients, I know that they're your clients. They need to, you know, to be ready to work. So it's a process that has, you know, two active parts.
Yes, okay. Yes, absolutely. We asked in the first phone call, we asked them how much you're suffering, 1 to 10. Usually they're suffering 10 or 9. Okay, how much are you do you ready to להשקיע?
Invest.
To invest, and I don't talk about money. Okay, to invest your energy, your time, your
attention, everything.
Your attention.
Very proactive approach.
Yes, and there's a gap between how much they're suffering and how much they're ready to invest. If I hear really something about 5, okay, I don't think we can help you. Usually it goes about 7, 8. Okay, so on that gap we can work because we'll help them, we'll motivate them every time to get to the from the place. Okay, I'm pity, I can't eat that, and I can't eat this, and all my friends drink alcohol, and I can't. Okay, and I'm so victim of my stomach. Okay, from that place we want to go to. Okay, I love my body, and I want to feed it on the right way. I want to treat it on the right way, and my world of food is different from your world. It's okay. There is a vegetarian, vegans, paleo. I have IBS.
I'm hearing something that a lot of health, wellness, and medical coaches work with, which is self-love and self-care.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you're holding very strong emotions of betraying of your body to yourself, and even hating your belly, your stomach. This is the only body that you have. You don't have anything else. I mean, if you want to work on your body image, let's work on it. Okay, but if you will keep on hating yourself and feeling victim of your own body, how do you want to heal?
It's a relationship like any other. The relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a toxic relationship.
Relationships. Yes. Yes.
So
it's a couple relationships.
So from your perspective, if there are coaches out there, medical coaches, health coaches, wellness coaches, and they're coaching someone that's living with IBS right now, what's important that these coaches know?
Okay, there's a couple of things. First of all, we have to understand that people with IBS feel mostly like an alien.
Like aliens, yeah. How, say a bit more about that. What does that mean? They feel like aliens.
They're suffering.
Yeah.
Okay, but they have no diagnosis actually. So everybody in their environment think that there's something wrong with them.
It's all in your mind. Get over it.
All in your mind. You make yourself sick. If it, young boys and girls, you don't want to go to the school, which is sometimes very right. Okay, and this is the way of their mind body to tell it to the parents that they don't like that school. I did it when I was 12.
For them. It's more than I don't like going to school. Something in that environment is toxic for me.
Absolutely. Yes, very good. Toxic environment, because environment, it's everything that you put in your body. Okay, it's food and it's drink and it's information and it's relationships. Okay, news, etc. Yeah. So to come with a lot of compassion.
Yeah.
It's very important, really, to give them a place to feel comfortable, to feel safety. They are normal. They don't make themselves ill.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the first thing. The second thing, never say them הרווח המשני.
Secondary gain.
Secondary gain, yes.
Yeah.
Don't shoot it on them.
Yeah. Like, I mean, what are you getting, by being sick?
Yes. I'm getting anything. I'm suffering. I can't get out from the house till 10, 11 a.m. because I'm running every time to the toilet. Are you crazy? I make it to myself? Of course not. But there is some unconscious aspects that holding that sick illness. Okay, we have to work with it. Yeah. Okay, we cannot blame those people with that illness. Never, never, never. Be very careful with it.
Yeah. So one thing I'm going to add here, if you don't know how to work with secondary gain, don't go there. Okay. Right. We all have secondary gain, in almost everything that we do. Okay. But first of all, be very, very careful with your language. Don't be judgmental. Okay. And also refrain from offering advice. That's not the coaching way. And obviously there is probably secondary gain, and it's completely irrelevant unless you know how you've been trained how to work with secondary gain issues.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So actually the main aim of you is to get them to recruit them to feel, to build for themselves the world of right living, right eating, right sleeping, right exercising, okay?
So we're talking about lifestyle, and it's really building the right lifestyle with them. Okay, so what I'm hearing is you need to be able to customize a healthy lifestyle to this specific client. It's not a one size fits all when we're talking about IBS.
Yes, yes. Okay. Sometimes the IBS people say, I don't understand. I eat so healthy food.
But it's the wrong
healthy food. It's not good for your stomach, okay? There is no healthy food, okay? There is ultra processed food, yes, which is not healthy for anybody, okay? But not every bowl of salad and the low fat yogurt, okay, considers as a healthy food for everyone. Really not everything.
So I would say, because I know that a lot of health coaches also study nutrition, but I would say that if you have a client that's suffering from IBS, maybe it might be a good idea to involve a clinical dietitian here with experience in gastroenterology. Okay.
I think it will be a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah, be humble here. This is a specialization. You might want to involve another dietitian. I want to say something, tap into something that you said about the environment, how we take the environment into our body. You know, we eat, we drink, and you said also things about information and relationships. And here, I just want to say something about the connection between the brain and the guts. First of all, these two organs were created from the same embryological tissue, meaning that they're connected. They also stay connected through the vagus nerve. So, you can look at it from the approach that basically everything that comes into our internal system, whether it's food, drink, information, emotions, thoughts, beliefs, values, whatever is information that needs to be processed. And one of the organs that's processing it, it's not just the brain, it's also the guts. And we know that when our brain is troubled, our guts react.
Right.
So, and
we have to understand that for most IBS patients, to connect with the external world, it's a big deal. It's not very easy. And food or drink or information, they're all representatives of the external world that they have to put inside their body.
So like always, we want to look into relationships and we want to look at self-image.
Right.
Yeah. And that's true for, for all of our clients in the field of health, wellness, and medical coaching.
Right. I mean, if you have IBS student, for example.
Yeah.
Student with IBS.
With IBS.
Yes. Okay. Mostly expected that during the exams, the IBS will be.
Yeah, the symptoms will peak.
Will be a peak of the symptoms. Okay.
But let's say something about stress. Okay, because I said earlier we're going to say something about stress.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, we know that stress affects the body, and by the way, when we're talking about psychosomatic illnesses, we're not talking about imaginary illnesses. We're talking about stress-related illnesses. Okay. So so
which is Freud called representation.
Yeah. So this means that the body reacts to what we think. It's not imaginary. We did not create this by ourselves. These are physical illnesses. The trigger is stress.
Yes.
And
now, stress in our modern life is every day and everywhere.
And it's ongoing and it's chronic.
Yes. And when it's chronic, it became distress. Yeah. Which is actually every time the cortisol are expressed
the levels of cortisol go up. So cortisol is is one of the stress hormones in the body.
Right,
okay?
right. And it affects the peristaltic movement of bowels, and it affects the microbiome. We didn't talk about microbiome yet. Actually, today we understand that IBS involved a lot of dysbiosis. Dysbiosis, it's affected microbiome in the guts. Okay.
So say a few words about what is the microbiome, just for those that didn't study nutrition.
It's microbes versus
it's the microbes and germs, the healthy ones that we have in our guts.
Right, right. All the microorganisms which are live in our body and in bowels mostly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So when they're disrupted, yes, we feel it. We feel it as a bloating, we feel it as a pain, we feel it as a irregular bowel movement. Okay, and it's very effective and affecting the stress. What you said about gut-brain axis, it's very, very right, and it's very, very, it works for IBS patients every day.
Yeah, yeah.
They can start in the morning fine, and afternoon.
Yeah, it changes, it fluctuates.
Yes, yes.
So my dear, we are close to wrapping this up. So before we wrap this up.
I want to say something else.
Yeah.
Please. We know today that there's more women in IBS patients than men. And the statistics talk about a lot more sexual harassments among IBS women patients.
So you think that the more women, the percentage of women is higher than the percentage of men, and among these women that are diagnosed with IBS, there's a higher percentage of women that have been sexually abused?
In their past.
Yeah, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Well,
so if you want to look for it, do it very gently, very.
And if you don't know how to deal with these issues, you haven't been trained, don't.
Okay.
Don't.
Right.
Darling, 3 tips for people that are living with irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay. First of all, you're normal.
Yay. Yes, you are.
Okay. There's about 10 till 20% of all population in the modern world suffering from IBS. So
you're in good company. You're in good company.
Good company, yes. We're normal. This is the first.
Okay.
Second thing, don't lock your fart inside.
Meaning?
Go to the toilet and fart it.
Okay, don't lock it in.
Best gases out. Don't lock it inside. It's very bad and it will kill you.
Okay, so
really kill you. Kill like from the pain and then the bloating and all the food.
Listen to the body and respect the body, right? So if you need to go, go.
Yes, yes. Listen to your body. Right.
I just want to say that I saw this this very amusing meme many years ago, and it had a monk sitting, holding it in, and it said, "Don't hold your farts in because they go up your spine and make create shitty ideas."
Yes, right. I agree.
Number 3.
And find a good dietitian, because trying to do dieting without 1 or 2 molecules, I mean gluten or lactose or something else, okay, or doing by yourself low FODMAP diet, it's very hard. Doesn't work.
So don't improvise with different kind of diets. Don't exclude gluten or whatever lactose on your own. Go and get proper consultation.
Yes.
And I would say
eat real food.
Yeah.
Not processed food, low gluten or no gluten or etc. or cheeses with no lactose. No, it doesn't work. We don't eat molecules. We eat food.
So go and see someone that can customize, help you create your own diet. Okay.
Yes, and teach you how to change it on different periods in your life.
Wonderful. And I would say also explore the emotional aspect of it. Don't be afraid.
Yes.
Even you're crazy. It just means that body and mind always go together. So yeah, go see a coach, go see a therapist, whatever you want, but you know, give yourself this gift and go explore the emotional aspect.
Very important.
Darling, it's been a pleasure. As always, I thank you so much for your wisdom and your generosity and your love and your compassion and everything that you bring with you.
You're so generous in your...
I will put your information next to this video. So if people want to contact you, you also give consultations in English, not just in Hebrew. So you work in English, in Russian, and in Hebrew. Yes. So, and you give consultations for patients, but also for nutritionists and coaches. So if you are a nutritionist, if you are a health wellness medical coach, if you are a person living with IBS, or you suspect that you're living with IBS, and you want to speak with Adi, feel free, the information is attached. So thank you very much, my darling.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great pleasure, really.
And thank you guys for joining us, and I will see you in our next video cast. Thank you and shalom.